I would like to introduce Brian White. He is president of Waukesha Gas Engines and GE Distributed Power. Brian, why don't you come on up there, and I'm going to introduce you by reading a little bit of your bio, okay?
Thanks.
Brian White is president of GE's Waukesha Engines business, part of GE Distributed Power, a leading provider of engines and services focused on power generation at or near the site of use. Distributed Power's product portfolio includes high-efficiency industrial engines that generate 200 kW to 100 megawatts of power for numerous industries globally. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Distributed Power employs more than 4,000 people around the world. In 2010, Mr. White joined Waukesha, which specializes in the design and manufacture of natural gas engines to drive compressors, generators, pumps, and other equipment. Previously, he was vice president of re-engineering for Dresser, Waukesha's parent company, prior to it being purchased by GE in 2011. At Dresser, he held the transition to a lean thinking enterprise culture, established a strategic global sourcing and logistics group to drive cost savings, oversaw facilities consolidations, led a worldwide Oracle implementation, and introduced a global deployment process. He began his career as an apprentice, that was a while ago, huh?
Just a little while.
At Caterpillar Tractor Company. Later at Sperry Son in the UK, he moved up from a design engineer to program manager through a series of successively responsible positions, ultimately being named vice president of manufacturing for Sperry Son Drilling Services. Mr. White has a bachelor's degree of science in electrical and electronics engineering from Northumbria University, Newcastle in the UK. Brian lives with his wife, Sandra, in Delafield, Wisconsin, and has 2 grown sons. Now, Brian, before you proceed, GE is one of our all-time favorite community members.
I appreciate that.
The annual volunteer resources that have come into our district every year is breathtaking.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely fabulous. Okay. So,
thank you.
Having said that, why don't you tell us a little bit
Sure.
about what's happening?
Okay, first of all, tough act to follow with the course students, but as an employer, about to get them on my business card and tell them when you graduate, come back here. I need engineers bad, really bad. Just why am I here? So, get to work 6:30 in the morning, sit and have my first drink of coffee. All of a sudden, there's a knock on the door. Who's this? Mr. Edlund pops his head in and says, "Can I have 5 minutes?" How did he get past security? What's he doing in my office?
He doesn't get past our security.
Yeah, so basically that was last year, and Steve got me interested in what's going on with local education and the STEM academies and everything else. And since then, we've built up a relationship. And we were talking a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that you'd done a deal with the propane buses. So natural gas is huge for GE Waukesha, huge. So I just want to give you a bit of flavor why it's impacting our business and why that was a great decision that you made. It wasn't that long ago that people believed that by now we'd all be driving electric vehicles, and the power from those vehicles would be derived from huge algae farms, producing all this gas that we can turn into electricity. Well, that's not really happening yet. But what is happening is this global gas revolution. It's all about the shale plays, and this is going to change this economy in the United States for many, many years to come. If you look, when you looked at 2011, this is where we thought the gas was, and the world thought it had 65 years of supply. Then they found all the shales, and we haven't found them all yet. We came up with fracking technology and horizontal drilling, and now we're seeing there's 250 years of gas supply around the world. And I think that's pessimistic, because all of these shales haven't been explored yet. So the first time a long time, in the next 10 years, the US is going to be energy independent. Oil imports are the lowest they've been in 17 years. Huge, huge turnaround for the United States. So what does that mean for GE? GE supplies 25% of the world's electricity. 25%. 10% of the world's clean water as well. But the natural gas revolution is really going to take off fast. So if you drive around, you're going to see things like this. The big one for us is the home refueling appliance. So having a natural gas vehicle, go home at night, the gas line will connect to that box, and then you can fill up your car with natural gas. The other ones in the gas stations, pretty important as well. People don't want to switch to a CNG powered vehicle because there's no gas in the gas stations. GE's making a big investment putting CNG in the box in all the gas stations. And last but not least, most people don't realize that GE builds more locomotives than anybody else in the world. The customers are saying, we don't want diesel anymore, we want gas. So we're doing LNG in a box for the diesel replacement. The things you don't see, what GE is doing. So you do oil exploration, drill the well, that's what happens. Your production ramps up, and over time it slows down. If you left it, it'd go all the way to zero. But what they do is they have a secondary oil production. And in the secondary oil production, they do what's called artificial lift. So they stick a pump down the hole and pump the oil out. If you left that, that would go all the way to zero. Now what they're doing is enhanced oil recovery. So they're actually pumping fluids and liquids down the hole to try and get the oil out. So what does that do for us? If you look right now, every one of those has a diesel engine driving it. What we are doing, every one of those diesel engines has been replaced with a Waukesha natural gas engine. So why is that happening? What's the benefit? You'll see this from your propane buses, hopefully. Natural gas is clean. Diesel is dirty. So if you look what's called grams, NOx of grams, our engines are 0.5 grams of NOx. Diesels are 7.7, so 95% less emissions using a gas engine. It'll be the same with the propane school buses. Fuel costs. To operate a diesel engine, $3,400 a day on the oil rigs. The same engine, the Waukesha engine, $719. So what we did last time, about 3 weeks ago, this is Times Square, and it's real, it wasn't photoshopped. So it's GE's Waukesha gas engines replaces diesel on drilling rigs. The drilling rigs out there right now have 3 diesel engines on. They're going out, replacing those 3 diesel engines with 3 Waukesha engines built here in Waukesha and getting the payback in less than a year. So you've got 3 engines already out there. You're buying 3 brand new ones, and just based on the economies, payback in less than a year. Okay? So less than 2 miles away, we've got 800 employees. The business is growing. It's growing like crazy. I need engineers. I need engineers bad. I am so excited about all the STEM programs because that gives me hope. It really does give me hope. My biggest concern is not finding enough skilled trades or enough engineers to control my business and drive us forward. We have some huge opportunities, and the U.S. is really going to take back, what is lost over the last few years. So with that, I'd like to thank Steve for inviting me. Anybody have any questions? It's open. I can ask anything I like.
Ms. Langell?
Oh, thank you for being here, and thank you for this. And I know, we're all trying to read up on all this and all
Sure.
the good things, environmental issues and all that. At the university where I teach in Milwaukee, almost the whole fleet is natural gas. Have you seen that with a lot of campuses?
It's starting
And-
to pick up right now.
Yeah,
It
I
really
mean,
is.
everything. And then what's so neat is that they say on the side, so you can't miss it, this is a natural gas
Yeah.
vehicle, University of Wisconsin natural gas vehicle. So-
UPS is all natural gas vehicles now. A lot of people were concerned, especially going to motor vehicles, you need to have the gas stations, but when you've got a big fleet, school buses, you can put the propane tank in the depot. So you just come home at night and refill at night. So that's the infrastructure's being the big holdback. But that's going to go away crazy. It's just going to take off. It really is. This is a transition year for natural gas. Huge.
I know the business that I'm in, we're familiar with a number of businesses that have large trucking fleets, the Walmarts of the world. Right here, Roundy's, a distribution center that happens to be on my project. A lot of those folks we're aware of are looking very, very seriously at immediately converting those fleets all over to CNG or propane or something like that. So I mean, your numbers are really, really astounding. I think that puts that in a really good context. And I just can't imagine the large engines at some of these locations that you're talking about and having a 1 year or less than a 1 year payback. No wonder you guys are so busy, which is,
Yeah, which is why I need, these kids come and work for me. No, seriously, I mean, the payback, and again, there's so much gas supply out there right now, and everybody's getting into it. China's getting the gas supply, so there's enough gas there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that until very recently.
others? Mr. Edlin?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for coming tonight, Mr. White. It's really an honor on my part to be able to lure you to come and share this experience with us, because I think it opened the door for everybody in this room tonight, and I knew it would, on where this country is going. And we have had, such a problem with manufacturing over the years in this country, and we've lost so much of our industrial base to overseas operations. And it's exciting that we're going to be bringing this back. And, just your expansion affected my employer, because we worked on a job where you work, and that's how we got to know one another. But for those of you who don't know, when you drive down St. Paul and you see the face of their building, the upper level and the level below that were always the engineering departments in there. And the entire upper level has been completely remodeled, and I'm sure the bottom level is probably getting close to expanding too. And we're going to continue developing this relationship with GE and our STEM programs. There's something exciting in the work over at STEM right now, and Mr. Crone's aware of what's going on. But continuing that relationship is so important, so that our students, not only our students, but our faculty, which sometimes graduate from college and then are in the education environment and never really have the opportunity to get out there and see where what's happening beyond the school building, and that's changing now, not just in Waukesha, but nationwide, and developing relationships is so important. I'm just thrilled that the students were here tonight. These are your future engineers. This young man that's going to be a mechanical engineer, guess what? Here's your first contact right here. So it's not just, I got to emphasize this, it's not just engineers. It's skilled trades, it's people, it's semi-skilled trades, the people that actually build the engines. We have to convince students that, this is a good living. And you don't have to go very far. There's a lot of opportunities out there, just going to even WCTC and being able to better yourself and make a living and provide for your family. So, we're really excited that GE is a fantastic partner for us in the school district, and we're really looking forward to a long relationship.
Thanks,
and again, thank you for coming.
No, definitely excited. And just to back up what Steve's saying, so I've got 400 hourly employees, average age 55, 150 of those could retire in the next 5 years. I need to find 150 just to maintain what I'm doing today.
Right.
I'm doubling the size of the business in 3 years. That's the plan. So I'm going to need about another 450, not 150.
Wow.
And manufacturing's got a real bad reputation. Everyone was outsourced in India and China in the 90s. It's a dirty place. It's a dangerous place. There's no future. I started off as an apprentice. I was a shop floor apprentice. I think I did pretty well. So, and the salaries are great. For the skilled trades. We machinists start off at $25 an hour as a machinist. So it's a great future. It really is.
Yeah. Ms. Reinacek?
I just was wondering if the kids know this. So we see this presentation and we hear you. Have you spoken to the kids?
Yes, we actually have the Schools to Skills program with the Waukesha Business Alliance. So we've had, I think, 14, 15 busloads of kids come through in the last 6 months.
What about STEM? What about when they're younger?
I've had some of my engineers work, and I'm not sure which STEM academy it is, but some of our engineers actually work with some of the STEM academies. And when I saw what Steve was doing at Saratoga, I gave out the name to a number of people, all different businesses, and said, you need to go and see what's going on in this place. Because I was blown away what Steve did with that.
Yep.
So you got to get that word out, absolutely.
Yep. Actually, I'd like to add, we just met with the Alliance. A number of school administrators met with the Business Alliance on Thursday. I'm sorry, Tuesday.
Yesterday.
That, our recommendation was to get this down into the 7th and 8th grade, where kids are starting to look at careers, so that when they become freshmen in high school, they can start making some choices like these students have done. So we are going to get the message down into the 8th grade about the good jobs in manufacturing.
No, it absolutely starts here. I mean, you guys are the ones I need to help me, you know, because if I don't get help from the school system, it's too late.
That's
you
right.
know?
Well, we have made this a major initiative, both with our engineering and with our manufacturing prep program at South and other schools. So, and we're just going to continue to build that.
Great, appreciate it.
Well, one thing I personally like about our district is all of these types of initiatives, and in bureaucracy, there's so many catchwords and catchphrases out there, and collaboration this and skills gap that, and closing the skills gap. You probably have seen, we're dead serious about it.
No,
And-
absolutely.
And
yeah.
we're dead serious about collaborating, and Todd has been instrumental to that, and all of our business partners like yourself. And I'm personally very, very proud of all of the folks that have been involved right here. And I think frankly, we do one of the best in the state of Wisconsin for trying to close that skills gap. And I thank you for your role in that. Mr. Baumgart?
Actually, I was, when Steve was talking about it, and I don't know, Mr. White, if you've had the opportunity to see the program we're doing over at North, where we're running a manufacturing program over there.
Not yet, no.
I'd really encourage you to have somebody get involved with the manufacturing program, because it's gone from a handful of kids to 70-some-odd kids that are involved now in several years' worth of manufacturing courses. And we've established partnerships with a number of other manufacturing firms in countywide, but there will be some kids coming out of there with very enlightened views of the manufacturing world, and it's very positive, so.
Yeah, we've had some trips, the school trips from the north as well.
Yes, they've come through, yeah. Send somebody the other way. Come and see our school, come and see our program.
Sure, we will.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
Ms. Brezink?
I would just like to thank you sincerely for affirming what we're doing. Sometimes community members don't understand why we're doing STEM and why we're doing, Core 26, and why do we do this? It's because there's a need in society for it right here at home. So thank you for your encouragement and for your affirmation of what we're doing. It's very much appreciated
Thank
and
you.
very much needed.
Thank you for inviting me, I appreciate it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks so much for sharing your time with us, Mr. White.